I didn't know, it was years between the two, and I didn't know if I'd ever get another bag. Look what's happened since. Oh dear. Hi guys, welcome to another video. In my last video I showed you all of my Louis Vuitton bags, my full collection, and there were quite a few things missing because yes, I have sold quite a lot of things. What have I sold? Why have I sold them? What am I going to replace them with? Let's get going. Just before we get cracking, I just want to also mention, and I will stop banging on about this, but I have started TikTok. I literally am having fun over there, just posting a few casual short clips of things, and it's just fun. So come and join me over on TikTok. I will put the link in the description box. And also, I've started a podcast, and I've mentioned this on another video, and it's going to be slightly different. It's going to be about me, about other things in my world that don't really fit onto this channel. This channel is about luxury and, as Gwenny says, in all its glorious forms. So the podcast, I can talk a little bit more generally about mainly my fitness journey, also behind the scenes things to do with YouTube, how I'm finding it, how I come up with my ideas. I will be talking about luxury in YouTube, but because it's a big part of who I am, but there's so many other parts to who I am. So we're going to talk careers, we're going to talk about the future, we're going to talk about mental health, we're going to talk about anything and everything that we want to. So yeah, come and see if you like the podcast. Up until a couple of years ago, I had maybe sold one or two bags in my entire life. I just never sold any bags. I bought them because I love them, which I still do, and I never worried about the resale value. Then more recently, because I had too many things, and I have a real guilt about having too many things, but I still want new things. New things are coming out all the time, and I love, this is my passion. So I started to let a few things go, and it became a little bit of an obsession to hunt down certain things and to let go of certain things. And when I actually look back now, I have sold quite a few Louis Vuitton bags, and yeah, am I going to regret this? I am not entirely sure. There are a couple in there that I think I may have been slightly hasty with. We will come on to that, and you can let me know what you guys think. At the end of the day, all these things are just things. They are just bags, and they mean the world to me. But can I really regret letting go of a bag? Because at the end of the day, it is just a bag. I'm hoping I don't have any regrets. I hope. Anyway, let's go through some of them, or all of them. I'm going to tell you every single one that I've sold, and I'm going to tell you if any of my other bags are on the chopping block and if I'm going to replace any with anything. So I'm going to do this in the order that I sold them, and I'm going to try and get this in the right order. I may get it slightly wrong, but I think the first bag that I sold from Louis Vuitton was my Capucines bag, and this was it was called the PM when I bought it, so the receipt and everything says PM, but it's now classed as the MM because they did away with the title of the PM. So it is the larger size Capucines bag, and mine was in the colour Galleria, and it had the python handle. And I have told the story of this one. This was a complete and utter impulse. I have always loved the look of the Capucines, and I do love the Capucines. You might see some behind me here, and you might realise that I do love the Capucines. But what I realised was that size was just too big, too bulky, just it was heavy. I think they've changed the composition of them now, so I think the handle is hollowed out. I don't think they are quite as heavy as they were back in the day, but this one for sure was heavy. And colour, I got it in my head. This is the story. I really wanted a Birkin 30 in a tube. Now we all know how that went. We all know that's a whole other video. But that was on my wish list. I didn't know how long it would take. I thought I would never ever get one. my sales associate had just left Hermes. I was being passed over to a new sales associate who actually ended up being amazing, but I didn't know that at the time. And I was in London and I got it in my head that I wanted a beigey colour bag. I don't like beige anyway, I've realised that now. But I went into Louis Vuitton and I bought, literally on impulse, on a whim, the capucines with the python handle. It was so expensive, although it's even more expensive now. And it was just a mistake. It sat on my shelves. I can't even remember using it at all. And literally 3 weeks later, I got the call for the Birkin. So once I got that call, that bag never got a look in. So anyway, I sold it. I sold it for such a low price. It was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But I tried to sell it through various channels, and I think that was its true value at that point in time. I think not everybody wants an exotic, as in the handle was python. Not everybody likes the bigger size. That was the reason I was getting rid of it. So I felt like I gave that away. I don't regret it, because it's better to get some money back for it than it just be sitting there and I wasn't using it. But yes, it was a bit of a mistake all round. So that was the first one I believe that I sold. Okay, another disaster that I will talk to you about. I bought the Monogram East-West Pochette Métis from Louis Vuitton. Now this was a stunning looking bag, but I had a disaster with this. I bought it straight from the show. There was a trunk show in Louis Vuitton in New Bond Street that I was really kindly invited to. I bought it from the show. It was actually in the show. They had to pinch it from the sort of like where they have it on display to show everybody. They pinched it from there so I could actually take it home with me. And of course, in all my excitement and the champagne that I'd drunk and all the rest of it, I didn't check it over. I just said I want it. And yes, when I got home and actually properly unboxed it and looked at it, it was all like just slanted. It was crooked. It was where the monogram canvas was, it was just misaligned. I think that's the best way to describe it. And once I saw that, I couldn't unsee it. And anyway, I made a double mistake. So firstly, I made the mistake of firstly of buying it because it wasn't my favourite style of bag at all, but I wanted something from the Monogram collection. I made another mistake because I didn't check it over. Then when I could return it, instead of just saying I'm just going to return it and I'd either get a store credit or my money back, no, I said to get me a new one, because I hadn't properly used it and I wanted to give it a go. And then later on, not long after, I just knew it wasn't the bag for me. I just didn't love it at all. I do not like the S-lock. I don't really like the Pochette Métis style, which I'll come on to. So I decided I was going to sell it. And again, I did okay with selling it, but I definitely lost some money, which was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I lost money. It was just, the whole thing was ridiculous. I was really annoyed with myself. So then I started to look at my whole collection, and I just was on a mission to, the things I didn't love or didn't use, I was just going to let them go, and that would then facilitate me being able to buy something new. So I thought I was being quite sensible in some respects, and because I'd had that with the East-West Pochette Métis, I just kept looking at the actual Pochette Métis that I had in Monogram, that I fought for when they first came out. And I just thought, I don't love that satchel style. I don't love the little slip top handle. I like a top handle, but I like to be able to put it on the crook of my arm, and I just don't really like that satchel style bag, and I just didn't use it. I had used that bag, but I hadn't used it in a long time. And so I sold that, and I actually I think I got either my money back on that or slightly more than my money back, because the the prices have just gone up, and I'd had it a long time. So I think I did pretty well with that. I do miss, I'm not going to say that I regret that bag going, but I do miss having that smaller crossbody monogram bag, because I don't have that anymore, because that was my monogram crossbody bag, was a Pochette Métis. So I do think at some point maybe I should get, here we go, maybe, I don't know, a Speedy 25 in monogram or something like that, just something that I have that quick and easy canvas bag. Anyway, we'll come on to that. So I did sell the Pochette Métis. Also around the same time as that, I did also sell my what was this one called? The Montaine bag. Now I think mine was the it was the bigger size one, and it was quite a big bag. This is a beautiful bag. It was in the black empreinte leather. It was very beautiful, but it's a work bag for me, and I had since then walked away from my job, so I wasn't going to an office anymore, and I didn't really need a bag of that nature. And it had a really annoying, the most ridiculous design I've ever seen, that the handles actually go down and tuck in, so that when you put the shoulder strap on, presumably they tuck in so that they're out of the way if you want to put the bag on your shoulder. But the way the D-rings were, and the only place to put the strap hooked onto the inside of those, so it kept them up. So they were in the way. So, and then when you want them to stay up, because you want them as a hand carry bag, they then go down, and I never understood that. Anyway, it was a bad design, but the bag itself as a crook of the arm or hand carry bag, I thought was beautiful. But after buying that one, I did use it quite a lot as a work bag, so it served its purpose at the time. And then if I do want a bag of that nature, I do have a couple of Birkins and Kelly's and everything else, so that bag of course never got a look in after that. So I did sell that. I didn't get anywhere near what I paid for it, but I'd used it. It was quite a few years old. It's not a sought after bag, so I think I did okay. And I don't regret it. I do really like the black empreinte leather though, so again, maybe something, anyway, we'll come on to that, but that one, yeah, that one definitely had to go. So there's 3 other bags that I have sold from my collection, and yeah, 2 of these, are these going to be a really huge regret? One of them in particular. Anyway, so the next bag that I sold was my Galleria bag, and yeah, I don't regret this one. This was a workhorse bag for me. I used this every day for work for years and years and years, and it was amazing. But it had its day. The style of it just wasn't for me anymore. It was absolutely battered, absolutely battered. And it was just sat on a shelf, and I decided that I was never gonna actually wear that bag again. It was so battered. But I got a quote from Louis Vuitton for replacing the leather, and because of the construction of it, it had to be taken apart to get the piping back in, and it was going to be something like £1,100 to, yeah, and it was, no, I don't love it enough, and it won't make me love it anymore. So I ended up selling that, and I think I got more than I paid for it. Again, just time value of money. The prices of things have just gone up so much. And it was somebody who was an absolute enthusiast and wanted that vintage piece, so that was a win-win. I don't regret that. I don't think I'll miss that one. But the last 2 that I've sold very recently, one I think I've told you guys about, one I haven't, and the one that I haven't, I am half worrying that I have made a mistake. We will see. So the one that I think I have told you guys about is the Speedy 30, and this was in the black multicolour. Honestly, I love this bag, and the only reason I did let this one go is because once I got, in fact I've got it here, once I picked this one up from New York, which is the graffiti Speedy 30, it just made me realise that the black one, it has so much hardware on it, and it is so heavy. And yes, I bought a strap from Amazon just to make it a shoulder bag, but it wasn't ideal and it was so heavy even without anything in it. And I love the black multicolour, I absolutely do. And if something in a style that I like comes out in the new year in that, then I would be very, very tempted. Or I might still look for another multicolour piece that may be just a different style, that bit of nostalgia, but that isn't so heavy. And yeah, it also had replacement bits of leather on it, which were, it's all been authenticated and fine, but they just didn't match. And I don't know why, it just did bother me. There were certain bits that were just a different patina, I suppose, and it just bothered me. It did bother me. So I think I'm okay about that one going. It may be, I got an okay price for it. I think I pretty much got what I paid for it. And I think that I can always get something else from that collection at some point, I think. You often see these on the resale market. So we will see. I may regret that one, but I don't think I will. And the one that I haven't told you about, I actually sold my Alma PM in the Damier Ebene, and this was one of my oldest bags, and it was full of nostalgia for me. But again, I hadn't used that bag for like 20 years or something, maybe 15 years, I don't know, a long time. And the only time it came off the shelf was to show you guys that it had a completely different interior and that it was perfect, as in the condition was amazing of it, and the phone case, the phone pocket inside was for our old Nokia phones, and it was just funny and nostalgic to look back. But I just didn't use it, and I don't necessarily love the Damier Ebene. I never wanted that version of the Alma. Anyway, it's a whole other story, but my dream bag from day one was always the Alma PM in the monogram. Times have changed now, I probably wouldn't buy that bag now, but back in the day, that's what I really wanted. And my husband surprised me with the backpack that we all know about in the monogram. And yeah, I waited until I could afford an Alma, but because I had a monogram piece, I didn't know, it was years between the two, and I didn't know if I'd ever get another bag. Look what's happened since. Oh dear. But yeah, at the time I thought I should get Damier Ebene because it was different to monogram. It would be really silly to have two monogram bags in my head. So I sort of settled, and that is a theme. Sometimes I have settled for things thinking I won't get another opportunity or something, and yeah, anyway, so it was never my absolute dream, but I love that bag. I did love it. But yeah, it just sat there. So am I going to regret that one? The lady who bought it is absolutely thrilled to bits with it. She's got a vintage piece that's in, the glazing on on the handles wasn't great. The rest of it is absolutely perfect condition. So she's thrilled. I'm sort of thrilled that she's thrilled. Will I look back and think, oh, I let something go that was a bit of nostalgia? Time will tell, time will tell. But overall, they are all the bags that I have sold from Louis Vuitton. Have any of those surprised you? Do you think I've made a mistake on any? And also, let me know what you think I should buy. Not that I'm going to go out and buy lots of different things, because the whole point was to reduce all the things that I'm buying and not having too big a collection, because it really overwhelms me. It really, really does. But I do feel like I would like at some point a monogram crossbody something. Probably would go for a Speedy these days and just have that as a real everyday bag if I need one. And I do think that would fill the gap, if you like, from the Pochette Métis. Anyway, let me know guys what you think, and other than that, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on another one.